Hi, my name is Christina. I am at Whilst Iris Snaps on Instagram and Whilst Iris Snaps Designs, and this is a video about cross stitch. This is video number 18 and it has been a while since my last video. Please can somebody tell me where this year has gone, because it's absolutely flown by. And I know that in the next few days social media is going to be flooded with people putting up their Christmas trees, and I'm just not there yet. I'm not ready for it. My head is still in April. Yeah, it's just gone in the blink of an eye. Is that a sign of old age? Probably. Anyway, for those who have seen my videos before, you will probably notice that I'm filming in a different location. My husband is decorating our back room, so I plonked myself here in front of my sampler wall, probably in the hope that your focus will be on them rather than on me, but also for you to get a sneak peek at some future releases from Whilst Iris Snaps Designs. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent already. As I said, it has been quite a while since my last video, so I do have lots to share. I have some stitching from the archives, and it's an exchange piece that I received around 5 years ago now, when I was a member of the Dixie Sampler exchange group over on Facebook. I have both the birthday and Halloween exchanges that I've done with my Stitchy BFF April. I also did a Halloween exchange with my friend Kath, so I'd like to share that with you. I've had one new release since my video back in April, and that's the very lovely Flossy Jones, my one and only Welsh sampler. So I'd like to chat to you a little bit about her, and then I'll finish the video by announcing the competition winner from my 6k subscriber giveaway. Now, it's incredibly cold in here. My husband has tried to tell me that it's 18 degrees. There's no way it's 18 degrees in here, Thomas. So I have a cup of tea in my new Emma Bridgewater mug, although I've supped half of it already, and I have a hot water bottle on my lap. And I do apologise, the microphone may pick up on that sloshing around, but it's the only thing that's going to get me through this next 20 minutes or so. So let's get cracking, shall we? Right, so first up is stitching from the archives, and as I've already mentioned, it was an exchange gift that I received in the Dixie Sampler exchange group over on Facebook. Sadly, the group no longer runs, but April and I were both members for a good couple of years, and we both received some really lovely gifts, and I've decided to show this one today because it's seasonal. And this is a tiny project bag that was stitched for me by a lady named Leslie in the group, and her finishing is absolutely impeccable. And when I see finishes like this, it makes me realise that I really need to up my game in the finishing department, but that would mean me reacquainting myself with my sewing machine, and I'm not really sure I've got the courage to do so at the moment. But yes, I really love this. I don't use it as a project bag, it just sits on my Halloween display every year. And I couldn't remember the name of the chart. I thought that I'd posted this to my blog. So this morning, what should have been a 2-minute job searching for the name of the chart took almost an hour, because I got onto my blog and then fell down a rabbit hole looking at blog posts from times gone by. Made me feel all nostalgic. Anyway, I did discover that it was called Jenny Hoffman Country Rustic Primitive Design, and the chart is Picking Pumpkins, and it's a shop over on Etsy. So now to the stitchy exchanges that I do with my friend April every year. We do 3, one for our shared birthday, which is in April, one for Halloween, and then one for Christmas. And at the beginning of every year we decide on a theme, and this year's themes are tomatoes for our birthday exchange, pumpkins for the Halloween exchange, and then snowmen for Christmas. So let me show you what April stitched for our tomato themed exchange. I hope the camera focuses. It's tiny. This is a tomato fob from Blackbird Stitchery on Etsy. And I can't believe April managed or persevered in stitching and finishing something so tiny. I think she said it took 8 goes. The thread kept on snapping. And I'm sure she messaged me at some point and said, this is going in the bin. So I'm really pleased it didn't, April. I'm pleased that you persevered because I absolutely love it. And I love that the beaded fob is tomato themed too. How cute is that? And she'd sewn a little thimble on the reverse, and that reminds me of the thimbles that my nanny used to use when she was stitching. And I display it in one of my antique French spools, just like that. Isn't it lovely? And I believe there is a pumpkin version too. I was very tempted to do that for April for our Halloween exchange, but then I remembered those texts that she was sending me when she was finishing this. Now, my tomato exchange for April kind of evolved unintentionally. I had originally planned to stitch tomato tart from Heart in Hand and to finish it in a tart tin, which is exactly what I did. However, it looked dreadful. I just could not get it to sit properly in the middle of the tin, and then the trim that I'd chosen to put around the edge didn't match the threads that I'd used. It just looked dreadful. And I said to my husband, you know what, I wouldn't be happy receiving this, so there's no way I'm going to send it to April. However, as luck would have it, that very morning I had received in the post the new, or it was at the time, the new chart from October House Fibre Arts Tomato Roll. And I thought to myself, what if I choose some of the tomatoes from the chart, stitch them in a band, and then make a drum? I didn't really want to make a drum. I try and finish things differently every time I send something to April, and I think I've stitched her 2 drums already. But desperate times, folks, so that's what I did. She got another drum, and I'll put in the photograph here. And now to our Halloween exchange, which, as I've already mentioned, is pumpkin themed this year. It has literally just been pushed through my letterbox this morning, so I'm very excited to share it. But I think what I'm going to do is read the card first. I hope you don't mind, April, but I think this pretty much sums up our relationship and how we feel in the lead up, the stress that we feel in the lead up to our exchanges. We enjoy them really. Well, here it is. Not very Halloweeny, but what do you want? Nothing but a disaster this year. I beg to differ. It's absolutely lovely. I finally decided on Autumnal Pumpkin by the Cozy Needle on Etsy. Stitched on 32 count hand-dyed fabric by me. It's gorgeous. Half stitches, quarter stitches, blended threads and backstitch. Enjoy. LOL. And then I noticed before I'd even opened the card on the envelope, it said, and French knots. She'd obviously forgot to include them in the card. So let me show you what April stitched. And as she said in the card, the fabric is hand dyed by her, and it's such a gorgeous shade. And she's used this chenille trim on a few of my ornaments, and I love it. Every time I say I'm going to buy some for myself, and I never do. And I know when I posted this on Instagram, Tina, you did tell me, I think it's on offer at the moment. It's got 30% off during October, so now would be a good time to treat myself. But yes, I love this April, speciality stitches and all. My pumpkin exchange for April is a design from Artful Offerings called Prim Pumpkin. I absolutely love their charts. This is the first one I've ever stitched, believe it or not, but it won't be the last. I really enjoyed stitching it. I'm not really sure how to describe the finish. A mattress finish, pincushion. I'll put in a photograph and let you decide. My only criticism, although criticism is probably too strong a word, but I guess what I'm trying to say is what I would do differently if I were to stitch it again. I stitched it on 36 count and I think I would stitch it on 40 count. It's absolutely massive. April, I have no idea what you're going to do with it. Enjoy. And as if all of that wasn't enough, I also did a Halloween exchange with my friend Kath, who is stitching Bowerbird over on Instagram. And Kath sent me this adorable bat cushion, which has already found a home amongst my other Halloween finishes, which incidentally I only managed to put out the other day. I'm so behind this year. And Kath tells me that it's a design from Sub Rosa Designs, and it's from a series that she did. I think it's called Halloween Cards, and I went over onto Etsy to have a look at the rest in the series, and there's some very, very cute ones. So I think a future purchase might be in order. And Kath told me, oh no, is it the Called For? I think it is the Called For fabric, which is Squirrel by XJU Designs. Isn't that a fabulous name for a fabric? And on the reverse, Kath added some very sweet Halloween charms. Thank you so much, Kath. I absolutely love this. And for Kath, I stitched a chart that I've already stitched before, and I'm almost certain I've shown this on one of my videos before, but I'll show it again. This is a chart called Halloween from the Queen Bee Handmade on Etsy. And it wasn't this that I stitched, it was the very stylish Witch's Feet on the reverse, and I finished it as a beaded scissor fob. And I'll pop in a photograph here. And now to my most recent release, which is the very lovely Flossy Jones. Don't you just love her name? And I knew I had to have this sampler as soon as I read this verse. I've never seen it stitched on another sampler before. And it says, I dreamed and thought that life was beauty. I woke and found that life was duty. Oh, it's a little bit sad, isn't it? I hope Flossie didn't really feel this way. I hope you went on to have a long and happy life, Flossie. And unfortunately, I can't tell you much more about the stitcher. The antique dealer that I bought the sampler from told me that she'd discovered the sampler at a house clearance in the Valleys in Wales around 20 years ago, which is interesting because the verse is actually an adaptation of a poem by an American poet, Ellen Sturgis Hooper. So maybe it was just a poem that Flossie was studying at school. And I'll hold up the original sampler. I'm going to try and hold them both up together because I think for the first time ever, my model and the original sampler are almost the same size. Flossie stitched her sampler on 20-ish count perforated paper, and I stitched the model on 40 count linen. So yes, they're almost the same size. I'll pop it down carefully because it's a little bit fragile. So what else can I tell you about the model? Well, I've already mentioned I stitched it on 40 count linen, and it's white clay by Fox and Rabbit Designs, and I think this is my new favourite of theirs, taking over from ballet slippers. I'm already stitching another model on white clay, a sampler from Orkney, which is very pretty. Watch out for that in the future. I used Swaddle silk, and one skein was more than enough to stitch the whole sampler. I think there's around 2,500 stitches in it, and I managed to stitch it up in 4 or 5 evenings. It's not a very big sampler. The stitch count is 180 by 131, and it's all cross stitch over 2 threads, so it's more than suitable for Ada and linen. And as much as I love it in the blue, maybe if you're thinking about a sampler to stitch for Black Sampler November, which is in a couple of days, I think she'd look gorgeous in black too. So yes, I think I've mentioned everything. The chart can be downloaded, clunk, 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 from my website. You may remember back in video number 17 I did a competition to celebrate reaching 6k subscribers on YouTube, and the winner was to receive the very lovely Awake the Dawning Day from Blackbird Designs, along with the fabric and threads. And I asked you to tell me in the comments what your favourite Blackbird design chart was, and as always, really enjoyed reading the comments, and I used a random comment picker to choose the winner. Okay, so I'm using a random comment picker to find the winner of my Blackbird Designs giveaway, and I've already typed in the keyword Blackbird, and let's find out how many comments use the keyword. There were 376 unique comments. So let's find a winner. The winner is Trudy Gongora. Many congratulations, Trudy. If you could let me know your address and I will get the prize sent off to you in the next few days. Thank you so much to all that entered. As I said, I really enjoyed reading through all the comments, and I even learned of a few new to me Blackbird design charts, which is always a good thing, isn't it? Right, I think that's probably a good place to end my video. Hopefully I'll be back in the next few weeks. I still have lots to share, and there may even be a couple of new releases. You never know. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.